The year is 2257 AD. Humanity has left Earth behind, now calling a distant Earth-like planet New World, a fresh start with old shadows. A young man named Todd walks through the wilderness, his dog Manche by his side. But Todd's not speaking. His thoughts swirl around his head, visible like colored smoke, a strange phenomenon known as the noise. Manche reacts to it, as if hearing every unspoken word. This is how they communicate. As they head back to the settlement, a figure appears on horseback. The preacher. Todd tenses. He tries to suppress his noise, but it burns, slipping through in scattered thoughts. Birds, confusion, fear. The preacher hears it all. He stops Todd with a cold voice. "Don't hide your noise. I know who you are. An orphan. Weak, like a woman." But Todd has never even seen a woman. Not here. They're all gone. The preacher punched him and rides on, reciting scripture like a ghost, fading into the distance. Todd is frozen, alone with his dog, and the thoughts he can never keep to himself. Later that day, Todd returns to the homestead, where his two stepfathers are out working the field. It's a quiet life, routine and familiar. That evening, they sit down for dinner. The conversation is casual. "How was your day? What did you see?" But Todd hides something. He doesn't mention his encounter with Mayor Prentice. But his noise gives him away. Images and echoes slip out. The mayor's voice, praising the way Todd used his noise earlier. A memory flickers, or maybe just a phantom from the noise. Young Todd, barely more than a child, stands before the mayor. The man hands him a knife. "Tame it," he says. "Control it. Protect what's left." But tame, Todd would learn, really meant kill. Later that night, in the quiet of their home, one of Todd's stepfathers can hear the lingering thoughts bleeding into their room. Worries about the mayor, about control, about losing the boy they raised. Above the planet, in the cold silence of orbit, a shuttle begins its descent. No contact with the ground. No idea what they're stepping into. Inside, the crew chats nervously. Settlers, colonies, first-wave missions. But as they pierce the atmosphere, the air changes. Suddenly, their thoughts begin to manifest. Fear, confusion, panic, everything they've ever kept hidden now crackles in the air around them. Raw and exposed, chaos erupts. The shuttle's descent turns violent. Control slips. And then, impact. Back on the surface, Todd is helping his stepfather in the field when he heads into the barn. Todd spots a figure darting from the barn. Instinct takes over. He runs after them, thinking it's a thief. But the chase leads him somewhere unexpected. Out past the fields, through broken trees and fog, Todd stumbles upon something massive, the wreckage of a fallen shuttle. His thoughts race. Could the thief be a survivor? Around the crash site, he sees graves, rough, recent. This wasn't just an accident. It was a tragedy. Without hesitation, Todd runs back toward the settlement, desperate to tell the mayor. But his noise betrays him again. Every thought, every image he's seen, it all spills into the air as he passes. Men stop, they stare, and then they follow. By the time Todd reaches Mayor Prentice, half the settlement is behind him, drawn by the echoes of his mind. He tells the mayor everything: the wreckage, the graves, and the stranger he chased. Most importantly, the stranger had no noise. The mayor's eyes shift. He knows exactly what that means. "Find her," he orders coldly. Todd is stunned. Her? A girl? He's never seen one before. Not in real life. Not since they were all gone. He lingers at the crash site, his thoughts spinning, wild and uncontained, until he sees her. She steps from the wreckage like a ghost from a lost world. Todd is captivated. She's the first girl he's ever seen. Real, alive, human. But to her, he's a noisy, glowing cloud of raw thoughts she can't understand. He tries to keep his noise in check, but fails again. "I found her," bursts from his mind, loud and clear. Startled, the girl runs. A chase through the woods begins. But she doesn't get far. The mayor appears, and with practiced ease, uses his own noise to trap her, not with walls or weapons, but with illusion. He projects a glowing circular fence that looks real, but isn't, and she doesn't know the difference. Back at the settlement, she sits across from Mayor Prentice. Confused, cautious, he explains the noise, that only men are afflicted by it. And then he tells her what happened to the women of New World, that the native species, the spackle, slaughtered them all during a brutal war long ago. Or at least, that's the story he tells her. The quiet of her cell, the girl speaks. Her voice is steady, controlled. She tells the mayor there's a ship coming for her, a rescue mission. Immediately, he wants more. Where will it land? When? But she deflects. Calm, unreadable. Unlike the men in the settlement, she isn't affected by noise. And more importantly, she isn't affected by him. He can't control her. And that unsettles him. Frustrated, the mayor leaves her in the care of his foolish, arrogant son. A mistake. The boy rummages through her bag like a child with a toy box until he finds something strange, a tool unlike anything he's seen. He activates it by accident and nearly kills them both. Viola, now we learn her name, uses the chaos to slip away. She crawls beneath the preacher's house, silent as a shadow, and prepares to flee the settlement. But just before she escapes, she hears voices above. The mayor and the preacher deep in conversation. They're planning an ambush. When her ship comes, they'll take it. The mayor wants power. The preacher, lost in delusion, thinks she's an angel sent from the stars. Back at the homestead, Todd finds Viola hiding in the barn once again, trembling, exhausted. He sees her fear, feels her fear, and something changes. He decides to help her, to keep her hidden, even from his stepfathers. But they already know. They don't need his noise to see the truth in his eyes. Instead of stopping him, they help. One of them quietly tells Todd about a place called Far Branch, another settlement, deep in the wilds, somewhere she might be safe. It's the only way to protect her from the mayor's reach. But before they can leave, a shadow falls over the homestead. Mayor Prentice arrives. He's looking for the girl, and this time, he's not alone. Todd and Viola manage to escape. Barely, but not everyone is so lucky. In the chaos, the mayor's son kills one of Todd's stepfathers, and the mayor, ever manipulative, uses grief as a weapon. He whispers poison into Ben's ear. Help us catch Todd. It's the only way to save him. With no time to mourn, Todd, Viola, and Mancha, the loyal dog still by his side, set out toward Far Branch. They don't know what they'll find, only that they have to run. And that something much bigger is waiting for them out there, in the silence beyond the noise. As Todd and Viola travel through the untamed wilderness, something begins to shift. The silence between them softens. They talk. They share. Viola tells him she's never seen Earth, never felt rain on her skin. She was born on the colonizing ship, just like her parents, who lived and died in the vacuum of space. She's never known a world with skies. Todd listens, then quietly admits he lost his mother too, as a baby. They're both orphans, both raised by stories, not memories. But as they grow closer, Todd's emotions become harder to hide. His noise betrays him, revealing his growing infatuation with Viola. Fantasies he can't control. Viola sees it all, and she hates it. Then, one afternoon, something moves in the distance. A lone spackle. Todd reacts without thinking, charging forward to kill the creature. He believes it's one of the monsters that took his mother from him. But Viola stops him, pleads with him. And in that moment, they see the truth. The spackle isn't attacking. It's afraid, just like them. When they finally reach Far Branch, Relief is short-lived. The settlement is tense, cold stares, angry voices. When the locals learn Todd is from Prentice Town, they want him dead. They try to hang him. But the mayor of Far Branch intervenes. A woman, calm, powerful, unshaken. She orders them to stand down, to listen. In the days that follow, Todd learns the truth that unravels everything he believed. The women of New World weren't killed by the spackle. They were slaughtered by the men of Prentice Town, men who hated that women could hear their every thought, while they could hear nothing in return. The imbalance drove them mad. His own mother was one of them. Far Branch is nothing like his home. Here, men and women live together. Children laugh and run in the open. There is life here, real life, and Viola, and for the first time, where is safe. The mayor offers them shelter, protection from her own people, and from the dark, relentless grip of Prentice Town, and which is still coming for them. Viola is hopeful, but that hope fades quickly. Far Branch is warm and welcoming, but primitive. There's no modern tech, no way to contact her ship, no way to call for help. She's devastated. But the mayor of Far Branch gives her a thread of hope, tells her there's another place, far from here, where a transmitter still exists. If she can reach it, she might still send her message. During their stay, something deepens between Todd and Viola. No longer just survival. Now there's trust, understanding. At night, she reads to him from his mother's journal. Fragile, handwritten memories of a world Todd never truly knew. And when he hears his mother's words describing what life was like before the slaughter, how fear and silence poisoned Prentice Town, a quiet fury begins to grow inside him. His hatred for Mayor Prentice hardens. The spackle are no longer mentioned. Not in her journal, not in the truth. They weren't the monsters. The real monsters were human. Meanwhile, Prentice and his men draw closer to Far Branch, relentless, ruthless. But even among them, cracks begin to show. The preacher is unraveling, wild-eyed, and whispering sermons soaked in blood. He wants to kill the girl, sacrifice her, he says, for some holy cause. But Prentice has other plans. He needs her alive, needs her to reveal where the ship will land, so he can seize it. When Prentice and his men storm the edge of Far Branch, it's Todd's stepfather, Ben, who saves them. Using his noise, Ben creates an illusion, a flickering image of Viola running in the opposite direction. The mayor takes the bait. It buys just enough time. Todd and Viola escape once more. But this time, the chase is even closer, more desperate, more personal. And then the preacher catches up. He doesn't reach them, but he takes something far more painful. Mancha. Todd's loyal dog doesn't make it. The preacher kills him savagely, a warning written in blood. Grief follows them as they push deeper into the wilderness. Until finally, they find it, the wreckage of the first wave colonizing ship. Viola runs her hands over its rusted hull, hope flickering back into her chest. There's a transmitter inside. But when they find it, the antenna is shattered, broken, just like the world around them. Todd and Viola make the decision to split up. He climbs the wreckage, determined to repair the broken antenna. She waits below, watching the skies, hoping for a signal, a response, anything. But they aren't alone. Prentice and the preacher are closing in. The preacher finds her first. The fight is brutal and chaotic. His noise is a storm of madness, twisted scripture, boiling hatred, and seething misogyny. Years of delusion, guilt, and rage spill from him like poison. He doesn't see Viola. He sees a demon to be cleansed. But she defends herself, and she wins. With one of her advanced tools, she strikes the final blow. It's not vengeance, it's survival. Meanwhile, Todd faces Mayor Prentice, the man who shaped his life with lies, who murdered his mother, who raised him in silence and taught him to kill. Todd fights with everything he has. He tries to use the knife Prentice once gave him, a symbol of control, of legacy, but it isn't enough. Prentice wounds him deeply. Bleeding, barely standing, Todd turns to the one thing he was taught to fear, and masters it: the noise. With staggering effort, Todd projects a ring of women, their faces shimmering in the air. Mothers, daughters, sisters, the women of Prentice Town, victims of the truth. Among them is his own mother. Prentice falters. His control breaks, and in that moment, Viola strikes. She pushes him from the edge of the shipwreck, and just like that, the reign of Mayor Prentice ends. Above them, light pierces the clouds. Viola's ship descends, engines humming like salvation. Todd, broken and bleeding, watches it through blurred eyes. Then everything fades to black. When he opens his eyes again, he's inside the ship. Clean white walls, beeping monitors. A soft voice calling his name. Viola is there. He's alive. His noise pulses with relief and joy. She hears it. Every unspoken word, every emotion. She smiles. She tells him the truth. She was never just a passenger. She's part of the second wave of settlers. She's staying. Is she going to kiss me? He wonders. And maybe, just maybe, she's wondering the same. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a journey like this.